You've worked hard to earn and save. Now it's time to make your money work hard for you. This is Empower Your Retirement with Frank and Frankie Guida of A Better Way Financial.
All right. Obviously, one of the things that you help to figure out in our retirement plans is the idea of how best to plan for Social Security benefits. Because, I mean, it's something we've been paying into the system our entire working life. You would think it should be a simple thing. Even Social Security is hard, guys. It's very exhausting. It's just, you just want to get the things you deserve. Trying to figure out when somebody should take their Social Security, that's complex enough. Now you got to add a spouse who might be of a different age and is no longer working. You've just made the claiming possibilities even more complicated.
Yes.
What do we need to know about spousal Social Security benefits, and how can you help couples in this process? How do you help people?
Well, the first thing that you need to do is help people understand Social Security. You know, when you're looking at it, a lot of times people look at it and they'll say, okay, well, if I take it at 62, I'm going to get this. If I take it at, normal retirement age, it's going to be that. And if I take it at 70, it'll be this, and trying to figure it out, you want to have some help. It's not even the type of thing that Social Security can, like you go to your Social Security office and get any real help, because those people don't know what your finances look like. They don't know what your tax situation is. They don't know how much you have in your portfolio, that type of thing. In general, if you can delay taking Social Security, you're going to have a higher payout. You're going to lock yourself into a higher payout for the rest of your life.
Right.
So many times it makes sense to wait. Not always, but sometimes it does.
Okay.
And, so what are you thinking about? There's a couple of things. One is it's real important, and nobody knows the answer to when exactly you're going to pass away. Nobody knows that.
Right. Of course.
But you have to kind of think about it, and I'm in pretty good health. I don't have anything wrong with me. My parents lived to this age, but now with the advent of AI and, people are supposed to be living longer and healthier and all of that stuff. So you might want to plan for a long life, because you certainly don't want to run out of money. And the other thing you want to do is you want to take a look at your portfolio, because let's say you retire early. Let's say you retire at 62 and you take Social Security at that point. Well, you're locking in that lower benefit. Whereas if you have a nice sized portfolio, or a reasonable sized portfolio, you can draw from your portfolio pocket instead of drawing from your Social Security pocket, and allow that Social Security pocket where that income can come in at that point at a much higher level. And then you also have to look at if you're married. What kind of effect will that have on your Social Security, and how can you coordinate those benefits best when you're married?
Yeah, it's easy if you're single. It's really, it's pretty much just looking at your own benefit and figuring out, well, when is my longevity? When do I think I'm going to live till? And, of course, there's always in the back of your mind, well, are they going to ever cut Social Security?
Right,
because it says that they could cut it by 2033 to 2035. So that's something to put in the back of your mind. Maybe I should get some of it now before that cut happens. But there's also, when you're married, and what does that look like? And there's a lot of different ways that you can file if you're married. And even if you aren't currently married, but you were married previously, if you were married for 10 or more years to the same person, you haven't remarried, you can file off of their Social Security. If you had your spouse pass away and you were married for a long period of time, then you can turn on Social Security based off of their benefit, and that can start as early as age 60 as well. So there's different options there. And then if you're still married with your current spouse, and maybe one of you spent more time raising the children and one of you spent more time working, you can actually take one half of the higher benefit if one of you didn't work as much. And so what that could look like is, let's say somebody has a $40,000 benefit at their full retirement age, and the other person didn't do any work during the course of their lifetime. That doesn't mean that they don't get any Social Security. If they wait to their full retirement age, they can get $20,000, one half of the higher income earner's Social Security amount, at their full retirement age.
Got it.
So you don't completely forgo that opportunity to still get those Social Security benefits. And then if you're also, you were married and you're looking at, well, when should we turn it on? one of the other things to consider is when one of you eventually passes away, you lose the lower of the two Social Securities, but you keep the higher of the two Social Securities. So that's another thing that you could factor into that, is if you continue to wait, well, that's as long as either one of you is living, you're going to get that higher Social Security. So there is a lot that goes into when should I take my Social Security? What options do we have? And that is all part of the discussion that we have here at A Better Way Financial when we do an income plan, where we go over what income options do you have? When should we turn on the Social Security? What options can we take with our pension? How do we replace that income from our working years into our retirement years?
Right.
So this is all part of that conversation. How do we best turn on that Social Security? How do we make sure that you're maximizing that and getting the most out of that system? Because they made sure to maximize it from you. They made sure that you were paying 6+% each and every year during your working life. Make sure that you're getting the most out of there as well. And that's what we can help with, to make sure that you're in the best position that you can be with going into your retirement years. And having that income plan drawn up for you can really make a difference, and make sure that you're getting the income that you need over the course of your retirement years. No one wants to go into retirement and then find out, oh, I can't get the income that I need from my portfolio or from Social Security or from my pension, and I'm going to have to go back to work. You want to know before anything happens that exactly how much income you can live on and if you can make that work. And in some cases, you might find out, well, I can actually spend more money than what I was spending previously, and having that option and knowing that and having that knowledge is invaluable going into your retirement years and in retirement as well. So if you want to have one of those income plans drawn up for you today, we're going to be able to put one together right now for the next 5 callers. So all you have to do is give us a call, and we're going to be able to put together an income plan and review for you, where we're going to be able to show you the strategies that you can use to make sure that you're maximizing your income in your retirement years. All you have to do is give us a call. If you're 55 and older and you've saved $500,000 or more for your retirement, give us a call right now. That number to dial is 610-440-3722. That's 610-440-3722.
You know, it sort of reminds me of this couple that came in from Bath, another couple that had went to the Woodstone Country Club to see us. Really nice folks. They were both in their second marriage, and between the two of them, they had 7 kids.
Wow.
And I'll tell you what, they were very successful because they went through divorces. They had 7 kids. And they still had $1 million portfolio.
Nice.
So
Wow.
these guys were pretty sharp. They were pretty on the money. And, you know, they originally wanted to retire at like 67 and 65. But you know what? They started thinking, what if we could retire earlier? They were thinking more like 63 and 60. And they wanted to see if they could make it happen. So we did some work with them, and we showed them some different things. Now, and I'll let you know, they only had a pension of about $17,400, $17,500, you know, and the rest they had to do with Social Security and their portfolio.
Yeah, and in their particular circumstance, they had the pension income, they had Social Security income coming in as well, and they wanted to know what income options they should take for that Social Security benefit. So we looked at those different options, and we said, okay, well, here's the different options. If you want to retire at 63 and 60, well, you could turn on your Social Security at 63. You can't do it at 60. You have to wait till 62. Or let's look at the different options here. And when we ran the analysis, we found the best time for them to turn it on was at age 66. And by waiting till age 66, they were going to be able to get a projected $530,000 more from the Social Security system than if they turned it on at 63 and 62 over the course of their lifetime.
Got it.
So this was able to make a huge difference over the course of their retirement. Additionally, they wanted to see, well, what does it look like if we were to do $120,000 of income? And they wanted to have a higher income amount for their first several years going into retirement, but then lowering it later in the future when they didn't need as much income.
Yeah, they just wanted to pay off their mortgage first.
Yeah, and so we showed them, here's the situation. You could have $120,000 of income till that mortgage is paid off, and then reduce it accordingly to that $104,000, which is equating to that mortgage payment that they had. And you can do that with a 91% probability of success with our planning that we have with the Better Way Financial. And with their current plan, they had less than an 80% probability of success, only a 79% probability of success. And we were like, this is not something you want to really take a chance. This
No.
is your livelihood. This is your
Right,
retirement.
right.
No.
You don't want to have to say, all right, well, I'm going to roll the dice here and see what happens.
You want an A, not a C.
Yeah.
with confidence that you can retire and that you don't have to stress about it or worry about it in your retirement years. You only want to retire once. So we showed them, here's what we can do. We can set up the portfolio. We can make sure you're taking the income at the right times from the right places so that you're not going to have to stress about how am I going to get this income in my retirement years. So if you're 55 and older and you've saved $500,000 or more for your retirement, give us a call right now for your complimentary income plan and review. That number to dial is 610-440-3722. That's 610-440-3722.
Thanks for listening to Empower Your Retirement with Frank and Frankie Guida. To learn more, visit abetterwayfinancial.com.
By contacting us, we'll review aspects of your retirement portfolio to include suggestions about how best to utilize estate, tax, and retirement planning strategies and other financial services, or if changing management styles is appropriate for your specific needs and objectives. Exposure to ideas and financial vehicles discussed should not be considered investment advice or recommendations to buy or sell any financial vehicle. Past performance is not a guarantee of future results. Investments can fluctuate, and when redeemed may be worth more or less than when originally invested. A Better Way Financial is not affiliated with nor endorsed by the Social Security Administration or any other government agency. Annuity guarantees rely on the financial strength and claims-paying ability of the issuing insurance company. Any client experiences discussed during this show are unique to that client, and they are not meant to imply or suggest you will experience the same results. Advisory services offered through A Better Way Financial. Insurance offered through licensed professionals at A Better Way Financial. Pennsylvania Insurance License number 301779.